A lot of people think that once winter hits, the gardening season is just over. But what if I told you that you could have a thriving garden right through the coldest months? Well, today, we're going to do exactly that. We're turning this simple cold frame into a productive little winter oasis. Let's dive in.
So yeah, you look outside, you see the frost, and you just assume that's it for fresh vegetables until spring, right? Well, you might want to think again. See this thing? This is a cold frame, and it is pretty much your secret weapon for stretching that harvest way into the winter, and you get a huge head start on spring.
So our project for today is to take this cold frame and plant a whole bunch of what are called cold crops.
So what in the world are cold crops? It's actually pretty simple. They're just vegetables that really, truly prefer cooler weather to grow. It means they won't bolt, go to seed too early when it's cool out. We're talking about things like leafy greens and root veggies. They can even take a light frost, which makes them absolutely perfect for what we're doing.
And we are not messing around. Look at this list. We're planning to get 3 different kinds of spinach, 2 types of carrots, radishes, broccoli rabe, leeks, and some lettuce, all into this one bed. Yeah, it's a bit ambitious, but hey, that's half the fun.
Okay, but before we get to the fun part, the planting, we've got to get the cold frame itself ready to go. Preparation is everything. The prep work is really straightforward. Step 1, get all those weeds and old plant stuff out of there. Then, in this particular case, the old drip irrigation line was just totally clogged up with hard water deposits, so that's coming out. We'll just cap off the water line so it's all set to be hooked back up in the spring for the summer stuff. And now for the real magic. This is the part that makes winter gardening actually possible. We're adding a heat source. So before we do anything, let's get a baseline. A quick check with the soil thermometer shows us, yep, a pretty chilly 45 degrees Fahrenheit. That's our starting point.
Now, to fight that chill, we're using this really clever 2-part strategy. First, we're burying soil heat cables right in the bed. That's going to warm the roots from underneath. And then there's a tube that connects to the main greenhouse, which lets some of that warmer air circulate inside. It's this awesome combination of direct heat and ambient heat.
In this quote, it just perfectly captures the whole idea here. The goal isn't to bake the plants or create a hothouse. It's all about providing this consistent, gentle warmth that lets the plants grow steadily without getting stressed out. So what's really fascinating is how we're getting that gentle heat. We're actually using fewer cables than the box recommends and burying them deeper, about 4 inches down. Why? Well, because the soil itself acts like insulation. This gives you a much more stable, even heat, and it keeps the thermostat from kicking on and off all the time. It's such a simple little change, but it makes a huge difference. Okay, the heating system is all laid out. Now it is time to build up the bed with our growing medium. And man, did it take a lot of soil. 10 of these big 1.5 cubic foot bags. That's what it took just to raise the soil level by about 4 inches, right over the top of those heat cables. So the process is pretty simple, but you gotta do it right. After you add all that new soil, you just firm it down a little to get rid of any big, fluffy air pockets. And then the whole bed gets a really good watering. And you might think, why water it now, before planting? Well, that step is absolutely crucial. It settles all the soil evenly before you put your seeds in. This way you don't get little dips and bowls forming later, where water would pool and maybe wash your seeds away. It's a little pro tip that gives you a perfectly level seed bed. All right, the bed is prepped, it's heated, it's watered. It is finally time for the best part, getting those seeds in the ground for our winter harvest. So here's the plan. For the spinach and lettuce, since we want those nice baby leaves, we're going to sow them pretty thickly, just barely under the surface. But for the carrots, leeks, radishes, and the broccoli rabe, we'll plant those a little deeper, and we'll have to thin them out later on to give them room to grow. Okay, now let's talk about the stars of the show. I love reading these packets. This oceanside spinach is picked specifically because it's a superb cultivar for tender flat-leaf baby spinach you might find at the farmer's market. I mean, who doesn't want that?
And then you've got the Matador spinach. You have to love the marketing on this one. It says you'll be strong enough to fight the bulls with this nutrient-packed spinach. Okay, probably not, but it tells you this variety is just loaded with nutrients.
And finally, we've got space spinach. This one is just a great all-around workhorse. It's known for being really disease-resistant, which is great for the kind of humid environment you get inside a cold frame. And there we have it. 9 different varieties, all planted in their neat little rows. Everything's labeled, all tucked in. The lids are closed now, creating a nice tight seal to keep all that warmth and moisture inside. Let's do one final temperature check. And whoa!
After watering it with cold water, the soil temp dropped all the way to 40 degrees. So that heating system, it definitely has its work cut out for it now.
And now, we wait. Everything is in place. The only question is, with all these different cold-loving crops, which one is going to be the first to break through the soil? That's always the exciting part.